I started voting in 2007, and I think when I first started voting, I went much more on that gut instinct that a lot of writers and voters will still talk about. You just know, if he's a Hall of Famer, and so I looked at Jack Morris and said, of course he's a Hall of Famer. 1991, Game 7, how could he not be? And I voted yes. Jim Rice, my God, 1978, I remember Yankees, Red Sox, of course he was a Hall of Famer, and like that. And I voted like that for a few years, but I just kept reading, and in all sincerity, I'm not sucking up here. I read a lot of Baseball Prospectus and other such authors on the internet and books, and I kind of came to my senses, and I said, when you take a step back, yeah, Jack Morris, yeah, Game 7, bully for him, that was marvelous, and let's count that on his side, but it was one game, and the rest of his career was really good, but not Hall of Fame caliber, not even close, really. So I switched from a yes to a no on Jack Morris. Jim Rice, I switched from a yes to a no the year he got in. So I had, and I realized that one of the arguments I hate that Hall of Fame voters make is, you had to see the guy play. In my perspective now, sometimes seeing the guy play hurts you more than it helps you, because you're just getting that snapshot. I went to a Mets game in 1987. I saw Andre Dawson get 2 home runs, and that stuck with me. And I voted yes on him before eventually switching to no, just as he got in. I rely heavily now on statistical analysis, far more than on first-person accounting. I almost, to this point, exclude first-person accounting altogether.
One of the interesting things that that Ken talked about is the way that advanced statistics have caused us to reevaluate how we view some of these players, and especially with respect to the Hall of Fame. And the one that I think I'm very proud of, with my small part, is Burt Blyleven, who just got elected to the Hall of Fame this past year. He was a guy who belonged, in the same, in a similar, tier with a lot of those other 70s pitchers who went on to win 300 games. And I started looking at this stuff and gradually dug deeper into the stuff that Baseball Prospectus had started to do, and really started to put together a case for him. And at the time, Blyleven wasn't even getting 25% on the ballot, and I think he'd been on the ballot 4 years. He'd just gotten 23.5%, and I made my case. Over the years, his voting percentage climbed and climbed and climbed, and he finally got in this past year on his 14th time on the ballot. And it's I've been doing stuff, and there's a guy named Rich Lederer who does a website called Baseball Analysts, and he really took it directly to the people and engaged a lot of BBWAA voters, like big names like Tracy Ringlesby and Joe Poznansky, and made his case, and I think a lot of us have been advocating for stuff like this, and we've really it's kind of gratifying to see that people like Ken and Joe Poznansky and some of the other guys are actually paying attention to some of this stuff. That you're not just somebody in the proverbial mother's basement.